Gore Vidal, can we just look at the American landscape ahead of this great electoral joust? How do you see America now? Has it peaked?
Well, I don't think it could take much more peaking. It's sort of at the end of the road. There's no money. They're trying desperately to repair the army, which cannot be done without spending billions of dollars, which we don't have anymore. I've often thought of silly Mr. Bush as being a kind of sleepwalker. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what he's doing. He makes a little rapid decision. I'm a wartime president. I'm a wartime president. Well, he's not one. Let's have a war. He's tried to get wars going, and he's attacked two innocent countries for no reason at all. The Republican slime machine has gone to work to make it seem as if, well, my favorite one, if we don't fight them over there, we've got to fight them here. And he says this, he was a cheerleader at Andover, a prep school in New England. And as far as we know, that's the only work he ever did in his life. He doesn't know anything about politics, nor has he any interest.
Who's running America then?
Well, Cheney has been running it. And Cheney believes in torture, and he believes in locking people up, and he believes in rendition. 9/11 was a coup d'etat in which the American government was overthrown. And in no time at all, with that crazy little attorney general we had, Gonzales, everything he did while he was attorney general was to make legal every illegality and every breach of the Constitution that Bush had in mind, or Cheney had in mind. And Cheney is a devotee of torture and all sorts of other undesirable things, but he's got away with it because our media is so corrupt and the Congress is hopeless.
Gosh, you haven't got a good word to say for anybody.
No, I don't. And they are in trouble, not I.
They being?
The current regime, a criminal regime. There are going to be trials once this is over.
What should have been the response to 9/11? America was attacked.
Yes, by Osama bin Laden. It was not attacked by militant Islam is on the march. We've got to fight them. We've got enemies everywhere on earth. The American people can be fooled on every issue you want to do it. P.T. Barnum is our patron saint, not the lady in the harbor at New York. P.T. Barnum knew that a sucker was born every minute. There is no lie so great that you cannot get Americans to believe it, particularly as bitchy and mean.
Well, what renders Americans vulnerable to such a thing?
No education. It's the most ignorant first world country on earth, and I've spent a lot of time around educational institutions. They don't know anything. You were just talking to me earlier. You've got two children who went to school over there, and not one of them knows any geography. Well, that's true of every American child, and by now they're all in college and presumably passing courses, but they still don't know where China is.
So against that backdrop, how do you read the election? After all, McCain is a more gathered individual than George Bush, and he aggressively does not believe in torture.
Oh, McCain?
Yeah.
Well, his aggression has been tamped down, let us say that, because it's very popular with the people who like to vote for McCain, who want their taxes cut if they have money. So they only think of first things first, and that's the constituency that he serves. He's never done anything in the Senate. He's a kind of... I remember Nixon saying something about Bush, the senior Bush, who got to be vice president. And a friend of mine asked Nixon, what should we expect of Bush, old Bush? And he said, well, he's a lightweight, said Nixon. Nixon was a very shrewd man. You won't expect anything. There's nothing real there. He's not the sort of person you do anything with other than appoint him to things.
But he's a hero.
Who?
McCain. He's survived.
Yes, and he should have been court-martialed for losing the plane. I just spent 3 years in the military. I know how these things operate. He got away with murder, and he sang also to his captors. And somebody, I was just talking to a journalist in Italy called Lucio Manisco, and he has seen some of the singing that he did while at the Hanoi Hilton or wherever he was held.
Are we going to see a kind of swift boat campaign then that will...
Democrats don't go in for that so much. They'll be driven to it naturally. The one thing remember, the Republican Party isn't a party, it's a mindset of wealthy people who control much of opinion in the United States, and they can select presidents. The average person is never going to vote for them because they have nothing that appeals to people. They oppose Social Security. They're opposing now a GI Bill for the veterans of the current wars. Well, that is a damn fool thing to do. They're going to need those voters one day, and they're not going to get them.
Can McCain win?
Yes, because it'll be stolen for him. How do you think Bush won in 2000? How do you think in 2004 was even worse? Congressman Conyers, a noble figure in the House of Representatives, went up to Ohio where the election was stolen, and they did a whole report on it for which I wrote a preface. And we thought, well, at least we're going to get the story out because you've just got to move on and get past this, says John Scalia, one of our noble, noble justices. Yeah, he was part of the theft. You've just got to get on with it. You mustn't fret about having an election stolen. Why? What difference does it make? There'll be another one.
You say that the Republican Party is really a mindset and that it's the party of the wealthy, but the white working class have a problem with Obama.
Well, so the wealthy newspapers tell us.
Well, and some of the votes.
I haven't... No, they vote.
West Virginia?
West Virginia has been a Democratic fief since Franklin Roosevelt and has never gone against the New Deal because the New Deal saved West Virginia from a fate, I don't know worse than what, but worse than being West Virginia. No, it's West Virginia is a permanent Democratic state, that's all.
But it did not go for Obama.
Well, if you smear the guy all the time and pretend that he's a wild Zulu who's going to rush over to your house every afternoon and abort 2 or 3 ladies, yes, of course they'll believe that. I mean, it's at a very primitive level. The lies are told, but they're also believed at a very primitive level.
Do you think Mrs. Clinton will withdraw gracefully?
I don't know how graceful it will be. I always favored her between the two. I was originally for Dennis Kucinich, who was a bright hope for the Republic, if we can keep the Republic. So far we've lost it. You know they got rid of Magna Carta about 6 months ago. And with that went the due process of law, which of course was a great gift that people left us after the events of 1776. And that was really the centerpiece of our judicial system, and it's gone. Because that was what Little Junior was doing. He was trying to make everything he wanted to do legal, because I'm wartime president.
Mrs. Clinton?
Well, she'll go quietly into the night, and I hope she gets a good job with a law firm or something. She's a wonderful lawyer. And I think we'll be happy. I don't think she needs politics.
Are you disappointed, though, if you were for her in the beginning?
No, of course I'm not. I don't care about people's private ambitions. That's their business, not mine.
But you thought she would be better for the Republic?
Of course she would be. She knows more about it.
Hasn't, in a way, that period, the Clinton period, already been exhausted, and isn't it time for real change? And if it is time for that change, is Obama change?
No, I don't think he is. How could he measure himself? What are the measuring rods? What will he do about the court? Whom is going to appoint to the Supreme Court or the other?
Don't you have to ask who he is, in a way? Don't you have to ask, is he a bright man? Is he a capable
Well,
man?
apparently he is.
You read his speech on race.
Yes, I listened to it.
It was quite a remarkable piece.
I've spent my life listening to remarkable pieces coming from Winston Churchill and poor Jack Kennedy. I'm not fetched by them.
But are you gloomy about an Obama presidency?
Don't see why I should be.
Well, you're gloomy about a lot else.
Well, he can't be worse than what we've got.
And he might be better?
Well, you would be better. I would be better. The doorman here in the hotel would be much better as president than what we've got. Senator, what's his name? Arizona, you know his name.
McCain.
I have a block about that name. Because to me, he's Mr. Magoo. He's just wandering around in a daze. He doesn't know where he is. He can't get the names right of anything. It was revealed that he had given an interview in the early days of the Bush #2 regime. And he said, you can't talk to the president about anything because he'll change the subject and get on baseball scores. Well, that's the word around Washington. We all knew it, but his heir apparent, the Republican candidate for president, is saying that about his leader. And nobody's surprised. I mean, the tolerance for sheer stupidity is beyond anything normal.
But why has America been prepared to vote, certainly once, possibly twice, it depends how you view the events of 2000. Why did it happen, if in your judgment it was so wrong?
I'm saying it never happened. Albert Gore won the vote in the year 2000. In 2004, John Kerry won it, but it was stolen in Ohio, and Congressman Conyers has gone into great detail on how it was done. I thought to help the book on the internet and so on, I'd do a preface to it, so I know the book intimately. And I thought, well, all that talk will be gone, you know. Well, you've got to get beyond this, you know, said Scalia. If we get beyond it, there is no republic left. And we're at that stage now. There's nothing left. Without Magna Carta, without due process of law, without the cavils of the Constitution on the subject of personal rights, we are nobody. We're going to be just above Paraguay in the...
Well, one of the most resistant figures has been Ted Kennedy.
Well, he doesn't seem to be in good health.
You've tended not to have the warmest of thoughts for the Kennedy family.
Why does everybody make everything personal? I don't give a goddamn about any of these people personally, and I don't see why you should or anybody else should.
You've been a little bit personal about George W. Bush.
Well, he has wrecked the Republic. The Constitution is in effect gone between him and Gonzales. Am I supposed to be pleased with that? Oh, he's just doing a job as president. He's got such a nice smile.
Is it a gift or a curse still to be angry in your 80s?
Well, I think it's a great gift. Because I'm ready to kill.
Gore Vidal, thank you very much for talking to us.